Hello. Welcome back to another week's episode of This Black Girl Podcast. It is your girl Lola, aka Lola without the H. I'm joined by the lovely Mr.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Do you want to hear a fun fact?
Yeah, tell me a fun fact.
So the term Mr. was actually a shortened form of master.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's where MR comes from. It's a condensed form of master. And then for some reason, because it was a whole like patriarchy, like hierarchy situation, the wife then, the Mrs., was actually mistress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
So MRS. I don't know what the MS is. I'm just assuming it's Miss, but that's what I've always grown up to know, but I think it's probably different at this point. But yeah, that's my fun fact of the day.
It's very, very, very fun. Very cool.
I'm not going to start calling you Master, though. I'm just going to still keep it as Mr.
That's cool.
Oh my gosh. But yes, welcome back. First and foremost, shout outs to the person at the prison who did Tory Lanez dirty by selling that mugshot to TMZ with his lifting hairline, his whole lace front lifting. You are the realest one. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you find a 4-leaf clover on your walk, either back from the parking lot to go home or on your way home. I hope you find a scratch ticket with a $5 winning. And I hope, like, when you go to Starbucks to get your coffee, you find out that somebody in front of you already paid for it.
Yeah, they don't even make pennies in Canada anymore, but I hope you find a lucky penny on your way home.
Right? Like, you're a real one for that one, because showing him dusty the way he is. But I'm not going to get into that. We're actually going to pivot completely. Let's talk about forgiveness.
Okay.
I
feel accused.
No,
I'm joking.
Oh
I'm joking. I'm joking.
No, I want to ask you, I guess growing up and in life, do you find it easy or do you find it hard to forgive?
My problem is that I am a very empathetic, soft person, and I really want to see the best in people. And so it's too easy for me to forgive. There have been a lot of instances where I've forgiven people who probably don't deserve to be forgiven.
Okay. But, like, is it something where somebody, like, I don't know, let's say you got kicked in the shin and then somebody's like, sorry, and then you're like, oh, okay. Or is it, like, something where it's just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, forgive me, and then you're like, fine.
I mean, it depends on the context, I guess. Because, like, I don't know, like, if somebody kicked me on the shin on purpose, like, you're going to have to do quite a bit for me to say so, for me to accept a sorry from you.
Yeah.
If you did it not on purpose, it's like, it's hard for me to even, like, hold it against you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know, like, in Canada and as a Canadian, it's very stereotypical for us to be, like, known as, oh, Canadians are always saying sorry. And it's, like, low-key kind of true. Like, well, if we're in somebody's sorry or, like...
In Canada, sorry means both hello and goodbye.
True. You know, like, there's different, obviously, contexts for the word sorry that we use here. But well, you know me, so you know, I struggle with forgiveness. I do hold grudges. I'm less bitter. I've grown to be less bitter, but I do hold grudges and I don't forgive as easily, and I'm working on it. Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it's like, I don't hold grudges just because I don't think it's healthy for me.
I just don't think about it. That's
what I mean.
That's the thing. I hold grudges, but I don't think about it, so that I don't. I try to ignore the problematic toxicity that it can bring to your body.
Is it really a grudge? No, I don't know. For me, it's just like, I'm very honest, and I'm very fine with being honest with people. And I'm also very okay. And I'm also like, I'm very concerned about being like very specific with things I say. And so the truth is, like, if I don't want to forgive someone, I'll just tell them I don't forgive them.
Right.
You know, like, I'll just straight up tell somebody, like, yeah, I don't really trust you as much, and this is a thing you're going to need to work on, but let's just move on.
I mean, but okay, but here's the...
Especially when they're not willing to say sorry. That's the worst part.
Here's the thing. I guess that's where you and me differ, where it's like, okay, well, we have to move on. I can be, like, if I feel so slighted, like, I just won't even deal with you. I'm very, like, especially now, I'm very in my era of, like, accessibility. And if the forgiveness is not there and I know, like, I just don't genuinely fuck with you, then, like, you're not gonna have access to me. You're not gonna be able to just text me freely and then I'm gonna text you back, or, oh, can you help me with this? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, you're not gonna get those things from me, that joy from me, that kind of spirit from me. I will do shit on my own time. I will take my time. I will not be enthusiastic about it. And, like, if I have to deal with you and I have no choice, I will make it as awkward as possible for you.
You know what I feel like helps me avoid a lot of these situations?
And maybe that's just me being petty. But yeah.
I feel like what helps me avoid a lot of these situations is, like, I just don't hang around people.
Yeah, I know. I live with you.
I don't hang around people that often to the point that, like, it really feels like it comes to a head like that. Like, I definitely had friends, and I just stopped hanging out with them just because, like, every single time I hung out with them, I felt like I was getting annoyed. And then I was just like, you know what? Actually, I don't want to do this. You know, like, I had one friend specifically that it was like, it felt like we would hang out and things would be going fine. And then at some point she would just get something stuck in her craw, and then it would become like my fault. And then I would just get very annoyed, and then I'd be like, okay, bye. Like, there was one time with this person where, like, they got annoyed with me at some point because I was driving them, like, but I was, like, driving them back from a party. Like, I was driving them back home from a party, and they had something to say. And I was like, girls, shut up. Like, I'm literally doing you a favor. Shut up.
Yeah.
And, like, honestly, it was, like, after that, I was kind of like, you know what? I'm actually, like, low-key done with you. Like, I don't...
You got the ick.
Yeah.
Okay.
It felt like... It was one of those things where it was just, like, I sat and I thought about, like, how I feel in their company. And I always felt like I was kind of, like, on eggshells. And I was like, actually, I don't have a fun time doing that.
Right.
And then I just decided not to keep this person's company anymore.
I mean, put it this way, I don't think I've had a similar situation, but I did catch, like, the ick from a former, I don't even want to say, now I would classify them as, like, an acquaintance, but a former good friend, where we had like an argument or whatever. I was definitely in the wrong, but the reaction and, like, as you like to say, pulling the daggers out and taking it too far, like, it gave me the ick that even after the fact, like, even though I was sorry, like, certain levels, like, I didn't deserve that. Yeah. You know? And so the fact that there's, like, no respect of boundaries just because you're upset or whatnot, it really made me really think, like, do I really need this friendship? Like, obviously, it made me even think of it in a completely different way. Like, I'm not a good friend to you because I'm uncomfortable telling you exactly how I feel because of your reactions. Right. So then it's like, let me do you a favor by just not being your friend, because obviously I'm not a good friend. Yeah. I should be able to freely talk and say how I feel. And if there are, like, you've seen me with my bestie. There's times I literally had this person bawling in front of me because of something I said that triggered them. Right. And we've been able to have, like, I don't even want to call it uncomfortable, but have, like, difficult conversations and work it through. And they will explain to me, like, I need a little bit of space. I kind of need to process, but, like, you know, we're okay. I just need to, you know, do me for a minute. And I'm like, cool. And we're fine. Yeah. You know, and vice versa. So, like, it just taught me, like, what are like real friendships. And friendships aren't always determined by, like, length of time. Just because you've known somebody for a long time doesn't make y'all good friends.
Oh, absolutely. There's There's a band I love. They're back together now. They're called Death from Above.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember, like, they broke up for a while, and somebody in an interview asked them, like, when they were, like, with one of their side projects or something, one of the guys, like, oh, why'd you guys break up? And they're like, honestly, we just sat and we realized that if we met today, we wouldn't be friends.
Yikes.
Like, if we met today as the people we are now, we just wouldn't get along.
I mean,
and
that's
like
fair.
Real.
That's super valid.
Really real.
People grow out of people. Honestly, I really believe in the sentiment of people are here for reasons and seasons.
Yeah.
And sometimes that season is very long and sometimes that season is very short. Sometimes the reason is very shallow and sometimes the reason is very deep. And so, like, I just, with that situation, I removed myself. They tried to come back and, tried to, I guess, ease the tension and be like, oh, it's fine, we're good. And I'm like, okay, great. But then I also noticed that, like, the relationship kind of shifted to, like, whenever they needed something is when you knew my number.
Right,
is when you need to call. You never checked to see how I was. There's certain things that I've had occur in my life that they've never known because they've just never bothered. Like, I think what really set it off for me, actually, was I had invited them to my home multiple times. At least four times. I proactively said, hey, you know what? Come over. We'll have dinner. We'll do something. And, like, normally they're a type of person to go out. But because I was literally suffering medically, I can't go out. And it's not something you just casually say on the phone or you casually share, like, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
So I had invited them to come over. We could have talked. I would have updated them, explained da-da-da-da-da-da. And every time it was like, yeah, sure, I'm totally going to come by, or I'll do it tomorrow or the day after, and then never show up. And, like, I'm not going to beg you to go somewhere. If you want to go, you will be there because you can find your time and business to go to all these other places and do all these other things. So it just showed me I'm not a priority to you at that time unless you need something from me, apparently. So, like, I was off that.
I really feel that, honestly. Like, there's so many times where there's been a lot of people where it feels like I'm the one chasing them down to have a conversation.
Right.
And it just gets so frustrating because it's like, bro, like, literally, like, if you wanted to talk to me, like, you could just pull up your phone in 5 minutes, you're taking a shit and talk to me. Like, it's like the barrier of entry is, like, literally non-existent. So if you don't want to talk to me, you just don't want to talk to me.
Fair, but
it's not like the old days where it's like, oh, I couldn't get to a phone, oh, I didn't know your number. Like, no, you could just message me.
And with social media, it's even more accessible because even if you don't have the number, you may have the profile, right? Yeah. So, like, I get that, and that's where sometimes I'll admit for myself, I fall off with some friends, but, like, my love language is memes.
Yeah.
So
same.
Like, it is so wild to think that, but, like, literally my love language is memes. So if I'm sending you memes, that means I'm thinking of you. We don't necessarily have to have a big talk, long conversation, but just know I'm thinking of you and I hope that you're doing good and you can react however you want at your own pace, but just know that I'm thinking of you. And I feel like sometimes that's okay. But other friends, I do feel like I should make an effort to call more, to text more.
I feel like everybody has one or two people that are like that, you know?
I know. And, like, I'm very thankful for the friends that I do have because they're understanding. They know I don't have to call or text them incessantly to be like, are we okay? They just know life is lifing.
Yeah. Just
like how their life is lifing. And that we're good. There's no hard feelings. And if there are, we're not afraid to have those difficult conversations. I'm very thankful for those friends that I have.
Right. So. Well, let me try to flip the script a little bit on this here topic and say, what's a time where you could not get forgiveness and you just have to hold the L on your bad behaviors? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, sure. I have to think about that one.
There were definitely one or two women, especially when I was in, like, a hoe phase, that the way I walked, the context of how stuff ended between us, and how I walked away was definitely, like, not how I wanted it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. like I think I don't feel like I've talked to you about this person before, but there was one person specifically that like,
Yeah, I remember that one.
yeah, where like we kind of went on a date or two, things were going okay, but I was kind of like trying to speed run a little bit of the first part of a relationship because I was like not comfortable with things getting more serious with you.
Uh-huh.
But then by the time I like sat and thought about it and really was like, yeah, I'm actually going to commit myself to this relationship and I wanted to end it off with this person, it was like, oh, you're just another dude who like used me.
Right.
And like low key, like I kind of did. Not necessarily like consciously or on purpose, but like I was trying to like put space between myself in an uncomfortable situation. I kind of used her to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's just like, I don't know. It sucks. It's an L. It makes me, when I think about it, it makes me think like,
Yeah, you
my
don't
bad
feel
person,
good about yourself.
my bad person instances. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm trying to think of a time where I couldn't be forgiven. I don't know. I don't think I've ever done anything to anyone so like bad that I feel like I could never be forgiven. I'm trying to think.
It's not that you could. It's not that you could never be forgiven.
Or that I wasn't forgiven.
It's just that you didn't.
I don't know. I guess.
Even when you're like a kid, like I've definitely done stuff when I was younger, especially.
Oh, if we're going that deep, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure this one girl. I don't even know. I'm gonna drop her name because I'm not even sure she even remembers me. If she remembers the incident, I probably gave her a concussion. Her name's Natasha. We were in gym class, okay, and we were doing gymnastics in gym class. This is like elementary school, primary school. I think I was in grade 5 or 6, and perhaps she was in a grade younger, or either a grade older or a grade younger.
Yeah.
And so we were doing gymnastics, and so we were doing like front flips and cartwheels and stuff like that. And like I was loving it because like I was just like Cirque du Soleil, just like flipping through the air, having fun. And I can't remember if this was outside or in the gym, but I remember it so vividly. I did a cartwheel as she walked behind me and my foot contacted her face.
Wow.
Just thunk, and she went down. And I looked and I was just like, oh, I was covering my face. I was like, and she had to go to the office and stuff. And I got called by the principal because I had to explain what happened to make sure it wasn't on purpose. And her parents got called. Her parents was upset, obviously. And my mom got called, and she was like, oh, like she was obviously defending me because she's like, obviously she didn't do it on purpose. Like she didn't see the girl. I was just like, I was already starting my flip. I didn't even see them like behind me. And so like I didn't get in trouble, but I'm pretty sure she never forgave me for. She had a black eye.
Oh.
Like that's how that kind of force was behind me with that flip. Oh, child, poor girl. God bless, Natasha. I hope your life is flourishing. I hope your skin is clear. I hope your bank account has several commas, and that you're just living a fruitful life. Honestly, I'm sorry.
I don't know. That one feels a little.
What?
Because that was just like an accident.
It was an accident, but
but
I'm just saying I don't expect her to forgive me on that.
I mean, I guess.
I'm just saying. I'm just if we're going there, that's where I'm thinking. I don't know what else.
That's okay. You're just the goody two shoes.
No, I'm not a goody two shoes. That's the funny part. I'm not goody two shoes.
Tell me about bad things you've done. Joking.
I didn't go to my sister's wedding.
Oh yeah, but
she probably will hold that against me.
You don't care about that one.
I don't care, but I'm pretty sure she won't forgive me, and that's cool.
Yeah.
I told her I wasn't coming, but I did wish her the best in the wedding.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I mean, do you have something in your craw, I guess, that you haven't forgiven somebody else for?
I mean, yeah, that's
Is there any active grudges?
There's definitely at least one active. Well, it's not active because it's like at this point, it's like I just don't talk to this person, so it's a passive grudge.
Okay.
But I've definitely like after graduating, there was like a period of time where I was kind of like, between work and figuring stuff out, and I ended up making friends with this girl, and like the whole fallout ended up happening because like my dog passed away, and like a day or two after they passed away, so my friends were like, we're gonna have a little beach party. We're gonna try to do it, and they were clearly trying to do it to make me feel better. So I was like,
Which
okay,
is cute, yeah.
It was cute, and I appreciate it. And I went there, and then this girl, and I invited this girl along, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna bring some stuff, and she wanted to like burn these like postcards she had printed for some kind of thing. And then when it started happening, like she throws all these postcards in the fire, and then they start like crackling, and like I don't know. It's so funny. I remember like this happening because of family has a fireplace. It's like certain things you throw in that are laminated. It'll like the plastic will like bubble up, and then like the bubble will burst, and there'll be a jet of fire as all the air comes out.
Scary, okay.
Right? It's but like the bubbles are not big.
Oh,
you know,
okay,
it's like a one
little
inch,
tiny
you throw the paper in, and there'll be like 3 or 4 little like 1 centimeter jets of fire as it's burning.
Okay. It's
you
like,
know, like yeah. But we're just like, bro, this is laminated. We can't like burn this on a public
burning
beach.
plastic will stink.
And this girl just threw a fucking temper tantrum, and I was like, and I was trying to talk her down, and I was like, at the end of the day, if you can't take seriously me asking you to do something like 2 days after my dog died, and I'm real bummed about it, you're just not going to do shit for me. There's a scenario will not happen where if you decided to, you would actually put me ahead of you.
Right.
And it was just one of those situations where like I always knew this girl to be like spiteful like that. You know, she's the kind of person that holds grudges. But I was just never in the crosshairs.
Yeah.
Fair, yeah. And then as soon as I made her mad, and then I was in the crosshairs. That was
like that same friend. I'm like, I can't be your friend.
Yeah. As soon as it was like I was in the crosshairs, it was just like, well, it's over for me. Like that's it. Like she's not going to forgive me. And the thing that really made me like nail down on the scenario that like it was just over.
Yeah.
Was like, I got this girl a job. Like I could have had a cushy job dog sitting for one of my sister's friends.
Yeah.
And I gave it to her instead because I knew how bad she was struggling. And then when she decided to get mad at me, she's like, you never did anything for me. And I was like, girl, I needed that fucking money. And because I thought you needed it more, I let you have that job.
Right, yeah.
And I could have had that fucking money. You're going to really seriously look at me in the face and say, I've never done anything for you? You just don't care about me.
Well, I feel like when it gets reduced down to like those type of transactional things, I'd be like, honestly, it's at a point of like no return. And I just like, it's very dejecting to be like, that's what we're down to now. That's what it is.
Well, it's not even that it was like transactional. It's just like this girl when she's in her temper tantrum is like yelling, and when I'm telling her like, girl, like you're acting crazy or whatever, and she's just getting madder and madder at me.
Yeah.
She's trying to say like I was never a good friend, I never did anything for her, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I straight up told her like, I got you a job, what do you need? Of course it's like boo afterwards for a minute until they decide to get back on their mad train, and they're back on it.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was a person I was just like, you know what? And then like 2 days later, I was like, I returned a book or something that I had, and we did a little exchange of things that we borrowed from each other, and then it was like I never talked to this person again.
Good for you. I don't blame you.
I mean, fuck them. They like I don't know. The problem with a lot of people, especially when it comes to like stuff like forgiveness, is that a lot less people are like emotionally capable of that kind of thing than you would think exist in a functioning society full of adults.
Really and truly, like adulting. I know adulting's hard, but like, wow. It's surprising. Like, okay.
Bro, sometimes it honestly feels like a coin flip whether or not you have somebody who has the maturity to like actually admit they did something wrong.
Yeah,
and then
be accountable
and then actually
for
give a shit about enough about you to like do something about it.
For sure. I mean, just thinking about the story and stuff, and thinking about like in terms of forgiveness, I actually will hope, or I do hope that that my daughter forgives me. I don't think I'm the worst parent, but I definitely do occasionally have like mommy guilt where you feel like you can't quite do something. I still hate that like the one argument I've ever had with her dad in front of her, which I feel like was so mild.
Oh, it was
Like,
so dumb.
but it was dumb because it was like I didn't even incite it. I was just responding and I was trying to be firm because it's like I'm not gonna feed into the Lulu train. I'm not
Yeah.
hopping on. But like I felt bad in that time that she just like was so upset.
Yeah, she was real upset. It was the first time she really saw you two guys like really fight, or at least remembered it.
Yeah, and it's just like it was just like I felt like I disappointed her, you know? And I feel bad when she brings it up. And to be funny, I feel bad that she brings it up, but if anything it makes me more upset at her dad.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you didn't start with this stupid ass bullshit of you grasping straws, like we wouldn't even be here. But now we're here, or actually no, I'm here. You know, to deal with the repercussions, to you know, so it's just like that I think is one of the most recent things that I hope I get forgiven for.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
I think she will.
yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
like I said, she's a good kid. And I don't think I'm like super mom, but I know I try.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
she definitely has picked up certain traits from her father, and one of those things is that she's not very good at saying sorry.
oh my gosh, fucking
She's
allergic to it.
allergic as hell to it.
No, I'm telling you, 100% micro story about my own child. She would bawl like you were killing her if you told her say sorry. She would be stoic and stone faced until you say to her face, "You are wrong. You need to apologize. Say sorry." Then she'd start bawling and then cry out, "Sorry." I could never, like, it would always send me for a trip.
Yeah.
As S&G would always say, it spun me. It spun me. Like, bro, what? Like, it's that crippling to you to apologize? I don't remember as a child being that, like, that stubborn.
Yeah, same.
I don't remember ever being that stubborn
I
to
feel like
apologize. I remember feeling like shame if I knew I did something wrong or something, and like feeling like embarrassed and having to say like apologize. But I don't remember ever being that, like, you know?
yeah, honestly, like I feel like the hardest time period to get an apology out of me would be like in my teenage years. And then at some point in my 20s I realized like, oh, I get stuff wrong like literally all the time. It's not a big deal.
Right.
You know, like doing stuff wrong and making mistakes is part of learning. And but honestly, the hard part is like there are definitely sometimes with relationships and with people where like you can't just make the mistake and learn from it and move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there are definitely things that you can do to people and lines you can't cross with people where it's just like you didn't mean to do it, but at the same time, like
You did.
you can't really walk it back.
For sure. Oh my gosh, yeah, that happened to me last week. I told you with one of my coworkers.
Right?
I said something and I said it kind of like nonchalantly, and I appreciate them calling me out on it because they're like, oh, like I'm actually kind of taken aback that you would say that, like you understand the circumstances of my week and yada yada yada. And to add more context, they report to me, so like it was as much as us we're friends, I'm also like supposed to be this person's manager.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, I can't believe you the way you said it made it seem like yada 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 whatever. And so immediately, because they were trying to say like, oh, but I know you didn't mean it, so it's okay and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, I appreciate that you understand that that was not my intent, but I absolutely apologize.
Right.
Like that immediately owned up to it because it was just like, obviously, like I wasn't thinking, and and it still bothers me. I still feel icky about it. I'm probably gonna text them later and say like, I'm so sorry again for last week, and they're gonna be like, it's fine, and I'm like, honestly, it's not. It still bothers me.
Nah, I get that though, because like I said, like sometimes it's a little too easy for me to forgive people, and it wasn't until like I went to therapy and talked with even a therapist I didn't really like that much, but he basically was saying like, the problem with empathizing with people in terms of forgiveness is like a lot of times people do it too early. Right. A lot of times you put the cart before the horse, and it's like, no, first thing that needs to happen is the person needs to acknowledge they did something wrong and like come to you and ask for a genuinely ask for forgiveness. And until that happens, who cares why they did it? Who cares why they're feeling? Who cares?
Absolutely. And that's why, like, in that moment, I completely apologized because, like, they were going to sweep it under the rug themselves. And I'm like, no. Like, I need you to understand that despite my impact or despite my intent, the impact did not correlate, and that I am very sorry for that. Yeah. And like she ended up accepting my apology, which was nice, but like I still like I said, I still feel icky about it. Feel icky. I don't like hurting people that I care about, and I don't like hurting people that I respect. So, you know, and like this person is both. So like it doesn't leave the best feeling in my mouth.
Well, I was going to say, apparently that's like not as common of a trait as you think it is.
Oh, bro, trust me. Even on the opposite spectrum, you already know who I deal with on a working basis who I don't like. Yeah. And I don't respect. And like that's somebody I ain't forgiven. I ain't forgiven for nothing because yuck. And the wild part is, we've had conversations to try and clear the air in the past. Yeah. And when I've brought up transgressions and issues, they immediately got defensive. So it's like you don't even care to be accountable for anything.
Well, it's just like you care more about your own ego and your perception of yourself than you do about like genuinely trying to work on a relationship.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. And then like, and the joke is like, they don't even realize that the relationship, like how they've handled other relationships and that they've been, you know, shared with me, makes me look at them like they're wild.
Yeah,
like
they're wild.
Crazy.
They are crazy.
I was networking sometime last week, and I was recounting to another person who has like a pretty prominent title, and I was recounting how you know, this person was using somebody's personal, I don't want to say personal information, but like what they were doing on their personal time to judge and make business decisions, and how inappropriate I like thought it was. And that person's like, yeah, that's actually absolutely unprofessional.
That's one of those things that if they didn't purposefully kneecap the job and labor board because like that's, you know, they want to be able to punish you and fire you for whatever reason. Yeah. That's one of those things that actually probably you should go to the job, and if you actually knew that and they were actually talking about stuff you're doing in your off time on your job for a reason to fire you, you actually probably should be able to go to the labor board and be like, this is actually an unjust firing.
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, they're going to misconstrue the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Say, no. Like, oh, well, you know, due to whatever non-personal reason,
listen,
whatever business reason we've decided we're
to have it be super egregious for the labor board to do anything, and that's by design of the thing. But regardless, I'm just saying, like, that's gross and actually probably should be illegal. Like,
no, I agree, but I'm just saying, like, but it just showed me that, like, it's funny because it's like I'm holding a grudge against this person, and it didn't even happen to me. It happened to somebody who adjacently I knew, but it showed me I can't trust you. Yeah. I can't trust you, because if I tell you something going on in my personal life, or I say, oh, I'm doing this personally and this is being very successful for me, or I'm very happy for this and blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, you're going to go and say, oh yeah, we could totally sack this person because they're fine. They have this going on for them, or they're doing that in their personal life. That's not your business to judge.
And like
it's just so inappropriate.
What I was gonna say is, like, the problem is too is, like, you know, you're saying you're upset with him for something he didn't even do to you. Yeah. The problem is you don't know if he did it to you. Like, that's the problem.
Fair, of course. Where it's like, am I in certain positions because of something they did or did not do due to their own decision making based off of personal information? That's why I don't say nothing to them anymore. That's why I don't share. And like, again, that weird awkward tension, I will foster and nurture that. Like, and it sounds petty and it sounds unprofessional, but I can at least reassure myself, like, I can be professional. I just don't have to be your friend.
Yeah.
And that's, very different. And the problem is they want people to be friendly with them.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say that's
mm-mm.
honestly the like I've known other people too. Like I used to rent a studio space, and the person I split it with was just some fucking weirdo, man. And like I literally remember having a conversation with this person where I told them to their face that I don't like them and don't find that and don't want to be friends with them, and they would still message me every once in a while like we're fucking friends.
That's where you have to put the block button immediately.
But no, I understand, but I'm just saying, like, for some people it's weird because it's like they don't make this like differentiation between friendships and people that are just like around you, acquaintances yes. And this kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
And it's weird when it comes to work stuff when people are like that, because they make like weird decisions. Like even this guy that I know you're talking about, without getting too much information, like this guy will go out of his way to like save certain people and give certain people who are like not performing well a chance because he feels bad for them, and then also will just cut your ass like you're nothing to him.
I'm triggered.
Like
actually,
but doesn't even make sense. But I'm just saying, it's this weird thing where it's like if you're friends with him, he'll go and bend over backwards to try to keep you, even when it clearly hurts the place he works for.
Oh, absolutely.
But then if you don't be friendly with him, he'll just let you fucking fall to the ground and shatter in 1,000 pieces. Even if you're like a key linchpin to the company, he will let you fucking fall on the sword.
Bro.
It's weird.
I mean, it's weird. It is very weird, but like, I guess the last thing I wanted to ask, because it came up in my head while you were talking, and I mentioned the word block. Have you ever had like, I guess a dating experience or talking to somebody, or if it's online, where it felt a bit of a faux pas, where you're like, maybe I shouldn't go into there, maybe I'm going to block this person, but then you either forgave them and gave them a second chance, or like, have you ever never done that before?
Okay, explain the question one more time.
Okay, so I'll give you my story context, and then you can tell me if you've had a similar one.
Okay.
So, there was this guy who was like trying to like talk to me or whatever, and we saw each other on social media, and I was just friendly. I wasn't like into them, but I was friendly.
Right.
And so we would chit chat, we would talk and do certain things, and like he would insinuate like weird shit. Like he'd be like, "Oh, why don't you come over and you can cook for me sometime?" And I'm like, why am I coming over to your house to cook for you? Do I look like a personal chef?
Yeah, even if you guys are like friends, why don't you say like we should come and cook something together?
But no, because he was trying to talk to me in a flirtatious way, and I was just meeting him back like friendly.
Right.
And like he kept saying, like he was trying to obviously like persuade me to date him, but like his idea of a date was me going over to his house and cooking for him. And I was like, why can't you even take me out to the movies? Fucking Toonie Tuesday or something. $4 movie. Like, it's like a lot of people equate like who's a quote unquote high value person or a quality person based off of like how much you spend on a date. But the truth is, and that's a whole other tangent episode, it's not necessarily about how much money you spend. It's the idea and the effort behind the date. If you said to me, you know what, my money's not up the way it's supposed to, but like I really want to take you out, maybe let's go, we can watch a budget movie, we can watch a couple B movies and, you know, get to know each other, blah, 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 blah. I would be more inclined to do that. And like, but like my first date with you, if I'm going to go on a date, and I say that with very loose quotations, is not to your home.
Yeah.
And then cook you food. You're not even offering to cook me food. You're drunk. You're high. You're whatever. At that point, I was like, I am not, like, I blocked him. They found me on Instagram. I blocked them there too. And thanks to Instagram now being part of Meta, they're now blocked on Facebook. I don't even know the page, but I know the page is blocked.
Like, sorry, this is just another example of like male privilege. Like, no one's been invested in me like that to like annoy me in such a way.
Who do you mean?
Do you know what like, I'm just saying, like,
You've never had a girl try to push for things way too fast that you're like, whoa, no, this is too much. I gotta go.
Not the girls I dated.
Really?
Not really. Like, listen, I've been in an awkward situation where somebody said, like, when I was graduating school that they had feelings for me, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of seeing someone else, which was true, but I also didn't want to date this person.
Right.
So, like, it was conveniently timed or whatever, and, like, whatever. But, like, that's not a person being an asshole to me. That's just, you know, them.
Yeah, you didn't have
them
to
being how they are, and, like, whatever. Like, it's not, you know?
I don't know. I looked at my...
And I'm just saying, like, I think, like, the closest, maybe, was there's this one girl. This has nothing to do with forgiveness. Yeah. There's this one girl, and we went out, and I'm a gentleman, and so when signals were murky about certain kinds of situations in the bedroom, I was like, I'm just gonna let it go. Like, I'm not gonna pursue. I'm not gonna try to whatever. I'm just gonna let things, like, you know,
develop.
No. What's the word I'm looking for? De-escalate.
Oh, okay.
You know, like, we were going down, stuff were happening, we were kind of fooling around, but I couldn't really tell if she was, like, really into, like...
Right, what was going on?
On, like, the first or second date or whatever, you know, and so I just, like, didn't press it.
Right.
And this impressed this girly so much. She was like, never had someone do that. And she was, like, convinced they were going to be, like, a good couple, and she thought she could see us as, like, a good couple. And I was like, girl, you literally don't like me. Like, sorry, because like I can't help it. Like, I'm an artist in my heart, and I'm not like one of these Andrew Tate alpha men or whatever. Yeah. Like, I can take care of myself and whatever. Yeah. But at the same time, like, I'm not like that. And this girl didn't like that. And I'm like, I'm not gonna change that for you. Just because you thought that, like, and it was extra funny to me because it's like, girl, the same part of me that you like, where I didn't, like, advance on you, is the same part you'll get mad at me for later. Mad. Like, so weird. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But that's honestly the closest. And even then, it was kind of like a thing, and then eventually we just kind of, like, broke it off, and then it was, like, not even huge. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like this girl stalked me, as far as I know, for, like, 3 years afterwards and was trying to get in my DMs or whatever. Like, no. She's just lurking from afar. Like, no.
No. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I looked at my block list the other day because I was going through, like, my settings on Instagram, and my block list was deep.
My block list is not that deep.
I was like, oh. And so I was reviewing all these names. I'm like, is there anybody here I want to unblock? Nope. No. Like, literally, people, when I say I've blocked since high school, okay? Still blocked. And, like, I don't even feel bad because there's nothing at this point. It's so far removed between certain people and whatnot that, like, not to say that there's no loss or benefit to unblocking this person. They're completely different. I don't know if we're going to get along or not get along. All I know is there was a sour spot, and I don't feel like seeing if it's more sour or less sour. I'm good leaving it where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, it's like you don't have time to meet everybody, and you're going to have to, like...
I don't have time to keep up with the friends I do like, let alone the friends I don't.
I feel that.
Like, I don't have the capacity, so, like, why am I even... Like, that's why I'm like, I'm not even going to entertain this. Backed out of the block settings and just went on with my merry old day.
Bro, I feel that. I remember when Stranger Things, like, the first season was popping off. One of my friends was trying to get me to watch it, and I was like... Bro, I've been meaning to watch this movie for like a week and a half. I don't even have time for the shows I want to watch, let alone these shows I don't know about.
In their defense, Stranger Things is that girl. I'm waiting for season 5. Funny enough,
I've watched like 3 episodes of the first season.
No, okay, but this is where it fucks you up. I watched like an episode or 2 in the first season. It didn't capture me yet. I ended up watching the second season because I was home, bored, something. I'm like, oh, let me see the Stranger Things people are talking about. So I watched all of season 2 and I'm like, oh, this is good. So then I went back and watched all of season 1 and then I was on track. I watched season 3 and that's like, I think I watched that on time when it was coming out. So then I got into it and I was like, this is that girl. So then season 4 came out and then season 4 came out in 2 parts. You were there for that part of my life. So season 4 came out, season 4, 8. I'm so sad that, like, shout outs to Writers Guild of America because without them, we would be starving. We would be withered away with the lack of content. I'm so mad that it was only like, I think it was 8 or 10 episodes for season 4 and it split up into 2 parts. Like, bring back the 22 episode season. Like, shout outs to Riverdale. Riverdale just ended season 7 and they gave us a very nostalgic goodbye, which was very cute. But like, I want the 22 episodes where you don't know what's going on, so we have stupid filler episodes. Because guess what? You're gonna feed me, and I'm gonna come back for more.
You wanna know what though? Like, we gotta blame nerds for that shit because nerds hate filler episodes, even though there are good filler episodes.
Oh my gosh!
Like, they absolutely are. It was like good filler episodes.
It was like a movie every episode. It was so good. The cliffhangers were wild.
But I'm just saying though. But the tension is that they did 22-minute episode. They did 22 episodes. Not every episode would feel like.
I know, but here's the thing. Like, here's where I feel like they could have either broken them up to be a bit shorter, and have more episodes to hold us, or like, I don't know, maybe take a bit more time. And they are taking time for the last season, so I'm excited.
Well,
but
I was gonna say, like, I do think it's possible. Like, I haven't watched like all the seasons of The Mandalorian, but I did watch and really enjoy the first season. And the thing they did that's really smart in the first season is they kind of had this like half and half syndicated, unsyndicated thing where, like, I think it was an 8 episode season, whatever. It was like not many. And like the first 2 or 3 were story, and the last 2 or 3 were story, and the middle were just one-off episodes serialized. You didn't have to watch them in order. You could just jump in. You didn't need to know the plot. It's a new adventure, new characters.
That's
different people. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Then, like, you know, later on they have their more story beat focused episodes.
They tie it back up. That's cool.
And, like, that's a model that existed, like, you know, like, Supernatural did that for a hot minute too. Like,
yes, they did.
So they definitely could make it work on Stranger Things if they wanted to. They could have like the filler episodes and the plot heavy episodes, but then the problem is, these goddamn nerds hate filler episodes.
Well, no, because the thing is, because the cast got pretty large, the last season it like had 2 main locations and 2 storylines that eventually converged and became one.
Right.
So, like, you were watching, like, some episodes was, like, location 1, some episodes were location 2, some locations started, like, first half location 1, then location 2, or back and forth, or vice versa, and then eventually they all kind of converged into one, which was okay, it was cool, but just, like, seeing how much story gets condensed now into 8 or 10 episodes, rather than, like, what we used to be gifted of, like, the whole 20 to 22 season lasts you almost the entire, like, half year, full year of, like, content. Like, I miss that, and I know, especially now with the Writers Guild going on strike, like, how that's literally just because studios and producers, well, not producers, I won't say explicitly, but studios are very, like, cheap. They just want to hire writers for a short amount of time, make them, like, turn out the work and get them back out. You know?
You know, I don't...
And it's a shame.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's something we'll never forgive them for.
Oh, that part for sure. Because it's been almost... They said by October, it'll be the longest strike the Writers Guild has ever been on.
I mean, I'm hoping...
Ever. I'm
hoping for good things for them to come out of it.
So am I. Disney, wake the fuck up and pay people, please. Like, stop it. I know it's not just Disney, but I'm calling them out because that guy's Disney is one
of the worst perpetrators.
Yeah. So, like, these people, like, without writers, actors wouldn't have lines to say. There wouldn't be content to produce. There wouldn't be sets to design. Like,
and most importantly, in these kind of situations, there would be no beans to count. Because a lot of times when these people, you're talking about people who are like, why don't they understand the writers are the reason you have a show? No, it's because they're a bunch of bean fucking counters and they don't really give a shit about the products they make. They just care about their financial impacts and they love to just sit and count beans.
For sure. So sending lots of love to the Writers Guild and to the Actors Guild that are also striking as well not in conjunction, but in parallel.
And you want to know what? Shout out to the auto workers too.
Yeah, that are on the brink of striking. No,
they're striking now.
Are they?
They straight up.
Honestly, shout outs to them. Just because I feel like a lot of people disregard labor and the arts and humanities as actual genuine employment.
Yeah.
And they don't value that it is work and effort. A lot of people think it's very easy or very simple to be an actor when really, when they are filming, like I've seen personally, just because you've worked in film and television, it's short condensed stints usually of extremely long hours and lots of effort.
Yeah.
And it's very intensive for the short period that it is. But like, you shouldn't disregard that, 10, 12-hour days for multiple weeks and months, and sometimes it runs into weekends and stuff like that's a lot of work.
Well,
people don't get paid the same as you would see like an A-list actor. Like, Brad Pitt's not getting paid the same as, driver number 2.
But honestly, what I hate the most about it is the blatant hypocrisy. Because like the same people will be like, well, this person did a good enough job and that's why they deserve the money. And it's like, if you come out with a movie and the movie's worth billions of dollars, then the people who worked on it are worth billions of dollars. Well, the market has decided these people's work is worth a lot of money.
Well, because it's a collective project. That's the thing that everyone forgets. Like, and I understand a lot of people will justify that, oh, well, it's the face or it's the A-list actor that puts the butts in the seats. But, like, how many times have we seen movies where it's, like, prominent actors that bomb because the script sucks?
Yeah.
It wasn't directed properly. Yeah. The visual effects were trash.
The best example, the editing was bad.
Yeah.
There's almost never times where people talk about how the editing was good in a movie. But if the editing's bad,
everyone will know about it. So for sure, I definitely agree and I support and I back that it is a collective project and that there should be a more collective bargaining agreement for all parties involved in projects like that to be more fairly compensated.
My big thing is just like, if you do a collective project and the project is successful, then all the people who worked on it collectively should enjoy in that success.
I agree.
And it shouldn't be simply gobbled up by a few, high-level C-suite people at Disney or whatever.
And we won't forgive them until they do.
Nope.
So, with that being said, thank you again for joining us for another week. We're still debating on Wednesday or Thursdays for release dates. We're still trying to figure it out, get our sea legs, get our pod legs back in the game. In the meantime, though, make sure you are following us on the Instagram page at This Black Girl Podcast. I wish you a wonderful day. I wish you success. I hope you find a quarter in a shopping cart. I hope you get bonus pay on your paycheck. I hope that person you're waiting to call or text you back does. I hope you get the job. I hope you find your favorite pair of shoes on sale. Yeah. And I hope to hear from you again and speak to y'all next week. Bye. Bye.